regarding Macedonia, you had a meeting with Prime Minister Nikola Gruevski.
Former Prime Minister Nikola
No,
Gruevski.
he is the Prime Minister in shadow. So, and you had on your blog a lot of messages regarding his power, his ruling party, and his future also, that there is no future, as you said, without impeccable elections. I'm quoting you. Would you like to explain us what does it mean, impeccable elections? Because you know that elections, we cannot say impeccable during that election day, that they were impeccable, right? Because people are intimidated, corrupted, afraid, scared by the lash of the ruling party. You know, we had political prisoners.
To give credit
pressures,
to
etc.
former Prime Minister Gruevski, I mean, he did resign as he was requested to do by the international community. There is he's turned over quite a few important posts in the government to opposition figures, including in the election commission, if I remember.
But it's not working, and you're aware of that.
Well, you know, you have to make it work. You can't expect somebody in Washington, D.C. to be more concerned about it than you're concerned about it. I'm concerned about the same issues in Pennsylvania. But look, the American election yesterday, would I call it impeccable? No, I think we have to wait and see a bit about reports of irregularities. But it was an election that where the outcome is all too clear, and that's what Macedonia needs. Macedonia needs an outcome where that's all too clear, both to the opposition or to whoever loses and whoever wins. I can't, I have limited sympathy for opposition politicians who never want to go face the electorate. And there have been pretty clear indications at times that the opposition in Macedonia is very hesitant about that because it feels Gruevski will win.
Of course.
You have to face elections every once in a while, and if your opponents win, you stay in opposition. I mean, those are the rules of the game. And
even if the whole society is occupied by the ruling party, media, in terms of media propaganda,
look,
civil society.
This is exactly what Mr. Trump said was true of the United States. That there were all these liberal media that were out of tune with the people. Mm-hmm. There was, Hillary. The system was rigged. He said over and over and over again. The system is rigged. He won. I mean, the fact of the matter is that in a system where you have observers at the polling places, where you have internet access that enables non-government media, non-majority media to speak out, there are ways of winning against even a Hillary Clinton, who was a very strong establishment figure.
You cannot compare Macedonia with America. You are very well aware of those
Macedonia is
pressures, intimidations, blackmailing people, corrupting people.
Macedonia is a new democracy, relatively new democracy, that certainly has more problems in it than America has. But look, you have to live with those problems and fight for free and fair elections, even for impeccable elections. And, Americans can't do that for you. You have to do that for yourselves.
Of course.
And one thing I find disturbing about the Balkans in general is that people are constantly expecting that Brussels and Washington should worry more about these things than the people in Macedonia, Bosnia, and Serbia.
Mm-hmm,
and,
mm-hmm.
Frankly, we have our own problems. And the reason we went out of our way in the 1990s to help established these sovereign, independent, democratic states was so that they would handle their own problems. That's what independence and sovereignty are all about. So I'm a little impatient with the notion that there are solutions outside Macedonia to Macedonia's problems. The solutions to Macedonia's problems are inside Macedonia.
But the international community is resolving the problems, and you are aware of that.
Well,
Without
it's resolving the problems. It's being called upon repeatedly by Macedonians to weigh in. I would love the day comes when Macedonians kick the international community out and say, we don't want these ambassadors telling us
we need a censure for that.
But the only people who do that are people like Dodik. I mean, Dodik has essentially said that to the Americans and the Europeans, get the hell out of my life. And unfortunately, his is not a sovereign state. It's a part of another sovereign state. And so it's really a problem for us. But look, I don't say that the opposition could win this election coming up in December. I have no idea whether the opposition can win that election coming up in December. But I do know that if you're going to have free and fair elections, that the main ingredient comes from inside Macedonia, not from outside.
There are a lot of reports of intimidating people, blackmailing people,
Well,
pressuring
I think
people.
I might think it was a good idea that there are lots of reports if there's lots of violations.
Yeah.